Breaking news coming in, a review petition has been filed in the India's Supreme Court challenging the verdict that allowed the entry of women in the Sabarimala temple. Now, the verdict which was given last week had allowed women to participate. There were a number of protests which took place in Tamil Nadu and many cities of Kerala. The priests refused to meet the government. There is a minister in Kerala called Minister of Temple Endowments. Now, the ruling royal family and the priests have refused to talk to the government, saying that the court ruling violates the community's position on what is sacred and what is not sacred. And on this issue, I'm joined by my colleague Nishchita Virendra. Nishchita, can you just take us through the details of the petition?
Well, this petition, in fact, has been filed by an organization called the National Ayyappa Devotees Association. And the president, in fact, even went as far as to say that those who have challenged the age-old tradition of not allowing women in the menstruation period between 10 and 50 years are not true devotees of Lord Ayyappa. So it is not just this petition that has been filed. There are several others in the offing. In fact, just a couple of days back, there was a protest march that was held in Bengaluru by People for Dharma as well as ready-to-wait campaigners. And they went on to state that the judges have not taken into consideration the arguments that had been put forth in favor of the tradition, and they will be putting forth the same arguments. Interesting to see that these individual groups are coming forward to challenge the order, whereas the bigger parties involved in this case, which is the Kerala state government as well as the Travancore Devaswam board, have both refrained from challenging the order. Both of them going on to state that Travancore Devaswam board, in fact, went on to state that they do not believe that their arguments, even if they do challenge it, will hold good in an open court, and that is the reason why they have not gone ahead with it. This review petition comes in the backdrop of a series of protests that were organized in Kerala as well as other parts of the the southern part of India, where you have several devotees of Lord Ayyappa who have been upset with the Supreme Court order, as they feel that this will interfere with their traditional practices that have been carried on for several centuries now.
But then, how do you, apart from the fact, do you think, Nishchita, this whole controversy can go the Jallikattu way, where the whole Tamil Nadu erupted and Assembly had to overrule the verdict of the Supreme Court and the centre ratified it? Do you think that Sabarimala case can go the Jallikattu way?
Well, when the Wion team was in Kerala doing a ground report on the same, there were several who threatened that there will be a Jallikattu-like agitation in Kerala against the Supreme Court order. And the fact that the Tamil Nadu state government had passed an ordinance that circumvented the Supreme Court order, they believed that even the Kerala state government could do that. But there were several other experts who were in academics as well as historians felt that it's unlikely that the Sabarimala issue can rake up that kind of a sentiment, and such huge crowds coming on to the ground is very, very unlikely, as it is restricted to only a certain population who are ardent devotees of the temple. And it's very unlikely is what they stated. But looking at the trend that has persisted in the last 2 weeks after the Supreme Court order came about, it seems like these organizations, be it People for Dharma or the Ready-to-Wait campaigners or the National Ayyappa Devotees Association, they have been raking up support.
Nishchita, I would like you to just hold on for a minute. I'm also joined by Shilpa Nair, co-founder of Ready-to-Wait campaign. Shilpa, how do you see this development of a petition in the court and the polarization of views which has taken place, where one side says it's about gender, the other side says it's about communities' right to decide what is sacred and what is not? Your first view.
Namaste. As you know, that we devotees are not very happy about the verdict which came out 2 days back from the Supreme Court, because we believe that justice has not been done. We believe that our points, are not considered. So that is why we have gone. We have applied back to the Supreme Court, requesting them to please review it. We are ready to wait, and People for Dharma has filed, is going to pass the review petition as well. And what we feel is it is not a gender issue, because women are entering, there is no discrimination. Women are entering the temple. Only that there is a mage bar because of the unique characteristic of that temple. Each temple has its own, characteristic based on the rights of the deity of that temple. So that has not been looked into, we feel, except for Justice Indu Malhotra ji. I think nobody else has looked into the matter. That is why we are requesting again the Supreme Court to please kindly look at this and please consider the devotees' request.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Nishchita, for sharing your views on this issue. So it's a legal battle which will be fought in India. There is a precedent where Jallikattu, as a practice where courts felt that the participation of animal in a cultural sport was akin to being violent with them, was banned. But because of the popular protest, which acquired a cultural idiom of Tamil pride, had to be reversed. Let's see whether Sabarimala walks the same path whereby Sabarimala becomes entwined with Malayali pride.